There's a box somewhere in your memory. It's dusty, hidden in a corner you haven't visited in decades. And inside that box, there's a version of you that still exists. Small hands, scraped knees, a heart that hadn't yet learned to worry. You were just a child in Ireland, and the world was yours. The toys you held weren't expensive. They didn't come wrapped in plastic or advertised on television. But my God, they were everything. They were your companions when the rain kept you indoors. They were your comfort when the night seemed too long. They were proof that joy didn't need much, just a spinning top, just a worn-out doll, just you. And if you close your eyes now, you can still feel them in your hands, can't you? Let's open that box together. Let's start with something every Irish child recognized at first sight, the spinning top. A simple wooden cone, painted with bright red, blue, and yellow stripes, with a small metal tip at the base. You would carefully wind the string, your little fingers working slowly, then pull hard and watch as it danced across the kitchen floor, buzzing as it spun. The longer it spun, the prouder you felt. Sometimes you'd challenge your brother or a sister to see whose top could spin the longest. And when it finally wobbled and fell, you would wind it up again, because that top was yours and it never lost its charm. It was the kind of toy that taught patience, that made you sit still and watch something beautiful happen right before your eyes. And then there were the dolls. Not the sophisticated dolls we see today, no. They were simple rag dolls, perhaps sewn by your grandmother or mother, with buttons for eyes and wool for hair. The fabric was soft, smooth from being hugged every night. Her dress might have been made from an old pillowcase, and her face might be faded, but she was yours. You carried her everywhere. You told her your secrets. You would put her in bed next to you every night, and even when her arm came loose or the stuffing started to show, you never wanted another. She wasn't just a doll, she was your friend. And maybe, just maybe, she's still stored away in some attic waiting. Back then, every Irish home had wooden toys, didn't it? Handmade, simple, solid. Maybe it was a wooden train that your father sanded in the garage, or a set of building blocks that your uncle carved and painted. The wood was rough under your fingers, real and sturdy. You stacked those blocks as high as you could, then knocked them down and laughed as they clinked across the floor. Or you pushed that wooden train across the carpet, making engine noises, imagining you were traveling far beyond your front door. These toys didn't need batteries. They didn't light up or make any noise, but they lasted. They were passed down from generation to generation, from you to your younger brother, from your cousin to her son. And each scratch, each dent, told a story. If you grew up back then, you surely remember marbles. Those small glass spheres, cold and smooth in your hand, each reflecting the light in a different way. You collected them in a cloth bag or an old sock and protected them tooth and nail, because your favorite marble, the one with the green and gold swirl inside, was your treasure. You knelt on the ground or on the pavement, drew a circle with a stick or a piece of chalk and played for hours. The sound of marbles hitting each other, the celebration when you won, the lament when you lost your favorite. It wasn't just a game. It was your currency, your pride. And you knew every single marble you had by heart. Then came the jump rope. A simple piece of rope, sometimes with wooden handles, sometimes just with knots at the ends. But oh, the hours you spent with that rope, jumping alone in the yard, counting how many jumps you could do without stopping. Or playing with friends, two of you turning the rope while another jumped in the middle, singing rhymes that you still remember if you think about it. The rhythm, the snap of the rope on the ground, the burning in your legs, the laughter when someone tripped. It didn't cost much, you didn't need much, but it gave you everything. Movement, friendship, freedom. And when the streetlights came on and your mother called you inside, you would wind up the rope and leave it near the door, ready for the next day. Maybe you had a toy car, a small metal car, painted red or blue, with wheels that actually turned. You'd crouch on the floor and push it, making engine noises with your mouth, racing it against your brother's car, crashing them into each other and laughing. The paint would chip over time, the metal would get dented, but you didn't care. That car went everywhere with you. It lived in your pocket. It rolled under the sofa. It was found in the garden, in the bath, under your pillow. Even scratched and faded, it was still your car. It still meant something. Some of you might remember the wooden jigsaw puzzles, the ones that came in a flat wooden frame with pieces you'd lift out and fit back in. Animals, perhaps, or geometric shapes. The pieces were thick and sturdy, and they fit together perfectly if you turned them just the right way. You'd sit at the kitchen table, your tongue between your teeth, concentrating, trying to get each piece back into its place. And when you succeeded, when the last piece fit, you felt like you'd solved the greatest mystery in the world. These puzzles taught you to think, to try again, and to not give up. And they stayed in the family for years, passed from child to child. And who could forget the teddy bear? Not a new one, fresh from the shop. No, we're talking about the one with the worn-out fur, a missing eye, a slightly lopsided ear. The one that was so loved it had lost its shape, but never its importance. You hugged him tight when you were scared, when thunder rumbled across the Irish sky. You brought him to bed every night. He smelled like home. He was soft and comforting, and no matter how old he got, he was yours. He knew all your fears and all your dreams, and he never told a soul. Some children made their own toys, didn't they? With whatever they found lying around. A stick became a sword, a cardboard box became a castle. Tin cans tied together with string became a telephone. Old sheets draped over chairs became secret forts. They didn't need shops. They had their imagination, and that was more than enough. They spent whole afternoons lost in worlds they built themselves, with nothing but a few odds and ends and a mind full of wonder. Childhood in Ireland back then was simple, but it was filled with magic. The toys didn't do much, but they meant everything. They were there in the best moments and the quiet ones. They were a part of who you were, part of what made you smile, part of what you'll never, ever forget. So tell us, which of these did you have? What do you remember? Share your memories in the comments below. Let's relive those days together, even if just for a moment. Thanks for watching.